Hey there, and welcome to another exciting episodes of Tales from the Podcast. I'm your host, JB, with my co-host, of course, the Loadmaster himself, Mr. Jack Hunter. I always face the wrong way.
You son of a bitch. Really? Like, I should have been brought it up beforehand, before the show. But tonight's show, I am so excited about. I can see him in the green room. He's amazing. Everybody can see him. I mean, nobody can see him except us, so it's really cool. Yeah, I see you wave, bro. But it's been a very good day, brother. And yeah. How have you been, man? You been good?
It's been a long day today, to be honest with you, man. But it's definitely just been a day, I guess. I'm happy it's almost over, and it's actually getting to my fun part of my day, the part that I've been looking forward to for actually quite a while now. And
yeah, you know what? Yeah, me too. And our guest tonight, I'm looking forward to him, speaking with him as well, because there's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of eggs in the frying pan, and we may mention it a little later. But dude, how's the last 2 weeks been? We haven't talked since then. Well, I mean, we've talked, but how's everything else?
Everything's going pretty good, man. Just finally, for those who knew, my foot was broken, and finally I can walk again. So things are going great for me. I love being able to walk. It's
that is a very good benefit of being a human, being able to do that. I mean,
yeah, it really is. But anyways, man, I really think that we should probably really get to our guest today, because I don't know how much time that he has, but I really want to take full advantage of it all.
Absolutely. And when someone comes in here in the chat, I will say something. But until then, ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce you. Wait, don't press it yet. Don't press it yet.
I didn't. I know what you're doing.
Okay. Back in the 80s and early 90s, there was a show that dominated, family TV every week. And it was a family unit. And this is a show I actually grew up on, and I absolutely loved. So, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Jeremy Miller. Hi, Jeremy.
Yes. How you doing?
Doing very well, man. How are you doing?
And doing great on this end. Hanging in, trying not to go stir crazy with the quarantine and everything else.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Fair
absolutely.
enough.
have you had any weight gain through this quarantine, or have you lost?
Oh, yeah. I definitely put on my COVID-10. That happened pretty quickly. So I've been working it back down now. So I started getting close to 200 again, and that's my danger zone. So I'm back down to about. I'm back down to about 190. Got a little ways to go. So.
Very nice. I embraced my 10. I'm just like, fuck it. I'm gonna hold on to this for a while.
You know what I did? I embraced the
there you go, Jack.
I back in February, I weighed over 300 pounds, and I embraced the working out. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, by the way, this is the person I was talking to about. Michelle Baker is a good friend of mine that I met through a streaming service, and we go tit for tat with certain things. And she had me try to say something live on our little stream? And the answer is yes, I do like you, and I'm inviting you here to my studio and home for a weekend to see what I do. So there you go. There's your aha moment live on your live stream right now that you're doing right now. Everybody, yes. Anyways, back
Do
to
you
Jeremy.
like her or just like her?
I like
You
she's a good friend.
like
And she's a good friend, like really good friend. She's a sweetheart, and you know, I'm just gonna say like, because that anything else would get, you know, a little awkward or yeah. Well, I mean, I like yeah. I mean, come on. She okay. Here's the thing.
I feel
okay,
like we should do a dating show.
this is about Jeremy, but no. The other night, I had my daughter, and we were Facebook living our Facebook video, and she was showing cat videos and unicorns, and it was like 1 o'clock in the morning, and she goes ahead and starts singing the worst thing ever you can do to a 3-year-old, and it is a song called Shark Doo Doo. And I'm like, seriously, Michelle? Seriously? And it was great. Anyways, so back to Jeremy. Thank you so much for coming on, man.
Oh, thanks for having me on.
Oh, dude, it's awesome. I'm very, very excited to, you know, actually get the chance to sit here and chat with you. And I know that one of the main reasons that, you know, you are actually here is to promote something kind of special that you guys are doing here in a couple of days. And that's the Peanuts reunion.
Yes.
Yeah, this Saturday, we actually have the very first complete Peanuts reunion, and it's going to be virtual. We have everybody in the cast, all from kind of within 5 to 6 years of everybody. So all from the same generation of Peanuts actors and voice actors. We have our Peppermint Patty, me, which is Linus, Charlie Brown, Sally. Yeah, it's a really great group. We got Lucy. It's really an awesome chance for fans of Peanuts to get their memorabilia signed by everybody, to complete their collections, or just to get to take part in the live panel we're doing, or any of the one-on-one video chats too. So Peanuts fans are incredibly loyal, and you know, we get a new generation of Peanuts fans every 20 years or so, you know, and everybody loves to share it with the generation coming up next.
Mm-hmm.
That's very true. I watch Peanuts every year, like Christmas and Halloween especially.
I know. I think
I love watching.
I think we.
No, I was just saying I love watching it. I still do. I watched it with my kids when they were growing up. You know, it was still a big part of our lives.
Oh yeah, I love Peanuts. I mean, you know, I do the best Snoopy impersonation you've ever seen. Literally, it is like on point. But you know, what do you think? I think we discussed this on a producer meeting, conference call several months ago, actually. But we talked. Did we? I don't know if we talked about like the political stuff, like that, the backlash for like what was it? Was it Thanksgiving? Like the one they made such a big hoopla over, that's been playing for 50 years.
Exactly. Everything's so politicized now, especially when it comes to this kind of stuff. I mean, look at what happened at Christmas with the classic song "Baby It's Cold Outside," and everybody lost their minds that this song that has been a classic for 70 years is all about date rape, and it's a horrible. You know, people take things too far. People forget that Charles Schulz was on the cutting edge and the front lines of acceptance and diversity. You know, when he was outraged by a national news story that was going on where young black kids had been thrown out and almost arrested for swimming in a pool with white kids, the very next day he had it in the Snoopy Peanuts cartoon in the newspaper with them swimming with Franklin, the black character from Peanuts, the very next day. This man was on the front lines from the start. So I don't want to hear crap about how he, you know, was being, disrespectful or, you know, no, I don't want to hear that.
Gotcha. Well, I completely and 100% agree, and I didn't know about that little fact right there. That's absolutely fucking amazing. So let's go on. Justin, what is tonight's show about?
Well, tonight, like obviously we're, the peanut stuff and everything, but we were also able to convince Jeremy into watching an episode of Tales from the Crypt with us, which is
Or you
I,
did.
I'm gonna say it's pretty fucking exciting, and I'm like, like it's not too often you get somebody of, like, your caliber, to say the least, and it's not only like do we have you on the show right now, which is amazing, may I add, but we also got you to play along with the gimmick of the show of watching the episode, which can be extremely cheesy and like
That's the fun of it.
luckily we had a really really fun one with you. Some of them aren't as fun, but it's really cool the way it worked out for sure, man. But yes, we are doing season 3, episode 9, Undertaking Parlor, which aired originally July 29th of 1991 and is based off of the Tales from the Crypt issue 39 comic book. And wow, there is some real star power behind this one. Like
Absolutely.
some real star power. We got it directed by Michael Thiao. Hopefully, I said that right. I am really bad with names. Um, but he's best known for doing a lot of editing. He did Superman 2 as well as Two-Fisted Tales, the movie, which is awesome. And obviously, you got the EC reference, which is what Tales from the Crypt is based off of too. And this was written by Ron Finley, who pretty much based his career around, well, as far as like in Hollywood, he did 5 episodes of Tales from the Crypt, and that's about it, which is really, really interesting. Obviously, he must have known one of the producers, considering that once we get to the comic book comparison, there's not a lot of writing that had to be done. It was pretty much laid right out for sure.
Yeah, well, before we get into this episode, I have to say, of all the Tales from the Crypt episodes I've watched, this is absolutely the one with the damn good ending and a positive tone. Like, it actually addresses things in real time. Like, this was made in the early 90s, late 80s, and now what they were doing within this episode happens now. Like, happens now completely. I mean, obviously illegal, but it's relevant. It's insane.
Right. Well, you got to keep in mind the original story was written in the 50s.
Oh, true.
I was a really, really big fan of Tales from the Crypt. One of our stand-ins on Growing Pains actually had the full collection of original comic books. So I started reading those when I was like 9 years old and fell in love with Tales from the Crypt. So when they started actually making them and putting them on HBO in the early 90s, I didn't miss a thing. I think I probably watched 4 or 5 straight seasons without missing a single episode.
That's amazing.
Oh,
hopefully your friend realizes that he has enough money to like buy a house with that.
Tell me about it.
Right?
Some of those books in good condition are a couple of grand.
What's up, Chuck? And before we continue, we have a lot of people in watching. We have Ron, Sean, Michelle is here, and Chuck. Welcome, Chuck. Chuck is actually the co-host of his other show, 2G1C. And
2 guys, 1 crypt. Kind of like a 2 girls, 1 cup play.
But I mean, hey, who knows what he's into? I have no idea. That's his personal business, But anyways, so what's the episode called tonight, Justin?
Oh, well, as I mentioned already, like 2 or 3 times, it's Undertaking Parlor. And I guess we could probably talk about some of the actors real quick before we get into the episode itself.
Absolutely.
So we got and obviously just go through like the main ones and talk about some of the stuff that they've been in. We don't really go too into detail because there's a lot of really big star power here, and I don't want to have to list off 200 entries from every single person that's in this. It's pretty insane. But we got John Glover in here as the Undertaker, which
who I met actually at Comic-Con last year. Super nice guy, so sweet and genuine. The guy is just like, you just want to hug him. And it's like, how did you portray Lionel Luthor? And you're such a sweet guy. It's insane. It's insane.
Yeah. He's amazing.
Yeah, for sure. I got really interested because when I looked him up, I was looking into his voice acting, and he did the Riddler. I didn't even know that. And then he was on one of my favorite TV shows growing up, like of all times. He did some voices on dinosaurs. I don't know if you guys remember.
No way.
Of course.
I think that was after Growing Pains ended. Then they made TGIF. Like Growing Pains would have fit in TGIF like straight up. But what did he do with dinosaurs?
Who knows, man? But that fit so well with what they were doing with TGIF, and that came right after our era, basically. Our last 2 seasons were the first 2 seasons Full House started, and that was the basis of their TGIF programming. So
right, and then they went to Family Matters, Step by Step, which was the new version of Brady Bunch. And then they brought in Boy Meets World, and then Family Matters, it's Urkel, but it wasn't Family Matters, it was called Urkel. Everybody knew that. But quick fact, the first season did not feature Urkel. It was only the second season that it got. Ooh. But anyways, continue.
I don't know how we got onto the conversation of Urkel, but it's nice that people still remember that he's around. That's for sure. And
ask him if he knows what a gremlin is.
So this is a friend of me and Ron's, and he wants to know if you know what a gremlin is.
Are we talking about the car or the little demon creature?
Well, I think I answered both of it. Well, what she really means to ask, because it's about the movie, obviously, but she means to ask if you knew what a mogwai was.
Yes, of course I know what a mogwai is. I went and saw Gremlins, the original, in the theaters when it first came out, and I couldn't have been more than 11 years old. So yeah, I was a huge fan of that movie.
That's awesome. Me too. We're actually always giving that person a lot of shit because she's like almost 50 and she just found out what a mogwai was like a couple days ago. No, that's also a joke that goes around about her. But let's go ahead and keep this going though. We got Graham Jarvis in here as Grundy. Out of towners, Mr. Mom, and Misery. Not to mention about like 50 TV shows. Like I'm like all these people were on a bunch of stuff. We also got Aaron Eisenberg in here as Aaron. I'm assuming it was just really easy to keep the same name.
Yeah.
Right. He did one of the Amityville movies. He did the Puppet Master 3, Pterodactyl. The evil one, was that 2 or 3? But well, yeah, there's so many of those. They're still making Amityville movies?
Yeah, first off, here's the reason why. Because Amityville is not copyrighted. Anyone can make an Amityville movie. You just can't put horror in the title, because if you do that, it is copyright infringement on the original. That's why there's so many shitty quality shit films of Amity. There you go.
Tell us how you really feel, Jack.
Yeah, for real. And I'll be honest, I'll watch every single one of them. I'm a sucker for them.
It's just, it's beating a dead horse. I'm done. I'm out.
Right. Good. So we also got Scott Foltz in this as Norm. And I feel like you might know him a little bit, Jeremy.
I knew him a little bit. I actually know one of the other actors in this one pretty well, and that's James Marsden.
Oh, really?
Yes. James and I knew each other back when he was doing the New Munsters, when he was playing Eddie Munster on the New Munsters, and we were very good friends back then. He was always a filmmaker, which is really funny that this is the particular Tales from the Crypt that he ended up being a part of. But he was the kid at 10 years old running around with the Video 8 camera, Super 8, making small movies and doing like small skits, and it's all he ever wanted to do. So it's really cool that this kind of follows that same vein.
It really is, because like when I get back into talking about the comic book comparison, obviously these comic books were written in the 50s, so that might have been one of the changes that they made to the episode based off of maybe one of his ideas, possibly.
Who knows? Maybe.
Makes you wonder.
Maybe there's trivia about
it. Maybe. But Marsden's been in everything from Hocus Pocus to Star Trek, Hercules, Lion King. He's probably the biggest name out of this entire episode.
He had a laundry list of credits, even back then. He was one of those who, I had one show that lasted a long time. He worked on everything. He did films, he did TV, he was doing commercials, he was doing TV films. He constantly worked.
That's awesome. I love it when people are actually able to do that. You, unfortunately, doing a lot of podcasting and everything, you really hear a lot about how they don't get to work as much, unfortunately, which is kind of sad. But when you get to see somebody like, Marsden, who's consistently been able to go and go and go, it's a really cool thing for sure. It is. And I guess hurry up and finish up the actors in this episode. We got, I'm not going to pronounce his real name. Is it Jonathan? As he goes by Jonathan Kwan. But he was in Temple of Doom, Goonies. Most people know him as Data, which is probably he's probably the most recognizable actor in this one for me. But that's just because I still watch Goonies on like a weekly basis. Like I just consider it one of the greatest movies of all time. But I guess we went ahead. We talked about some of the stuff going on with the actors and the directors and writers of this episode. So I'm going to go ahead, pass it over to Jack real quick. And Jack, why don't you give us a quick rundown of this episode itself?
Okay, the episode of itself starts off with these kids wanting to make shooting like a scary movie, and then one of their friends comes up and says, "Hey, you want to see something really scary to shoot?" And they go to this morgue type, or not a morgue. What is it? Is Parlor, the funeral parlor.
Funeral parlor.
Yes. I'm sorry. Anyways, so they get in there and they start seeing all these like creepy, they see the dead people, and then the funeral parlor man, the mortician comes in.
Undertaker. It's called Undertaking Parlor.
I'm okay, yeah, all right. So the Undertaker comes in and he starts doing weird things with the dead people, like dancing with them, and they show dead boobs, which is always great. Boobs are cool. And then next thing you know, there's a man that comes in and talks to the Undertaker and starts talking about stuff, and it sounds like it's really never really explained what they were making money off of, but it was like the dead people, they were killing people based on along with this doctor. Like this doctor was involved, and I don't know if they were selling the bodies. It's never really fully explained. And
yeah, it is. It's completely explained.
They're so rich that they make money because they're going to buy the big package. My bad. I apologize. Okay, so that's what happens, and the kids find out and freak out. Then they hear about that this doctor prescribed asthma medication to one person who happens to be a friend of theirs, and then they decide, we're going to go undercover and catch them in the act, and they do, but they all have video cameras, and this is one thing I do really like about what they did, and me being a found footage director as well. It was found footage, like the last 35% of the episode. It was really cool to see that done back then, and no one not really knowing what happened. So they corner the guy after he kills an Undertaker because they did some shicey shit by sending him invoices of their doings, and they call him out, and the guy threatens him with a gun, like, "Come on, kids, give me the videotape." And he goes to shoot. One of the guy pushes the mortician, or the Parlor Undertaker, fuck you, Justin, and pushes him into where it sucks out all the fluid and guts, and he gets all his insides sucked out, and It really, and that is literally where it ends. It literally ends on a positive note, and the kids pretty much do like a Call of Duty by like putting their nuts on his face with the camera, and it ends. And yeah, and that's it. It was it.
Yeah, that's yeah, you're pretty much right on that. Now, I guess before we go ahead and actually chat a little bit about the episode, I want to make everybody aware about some of the differences from the actual episode compared to the original source material with the comic book. Now, with the comic book, obviously, there's some big changes. You know, you got the camera, especially that camera, was definitely not around at the same time. So, you know, there's none of that. And then instead of being like where they break in there, they're actually just watching from the outside window the whole time. And in the comic book, there's also really no gore, smashing of the face, nothing like that. It's a little bit more tame on this one. You could definitely tell that this comic book issue was definitely more for kids compared to some of the other ones where there's a really, really clear difference that, you know, they're obviously for adults. Also, the Undertaker did not have a gun. He used a knife, and when he died, he tripped and he fell on a tombstone and hit his head. Other than that, like there's no real big differences.
Getting his insight sucked out was a better ending, in my opinion, as a horror writer. That's great.
Right. Well, you know, yeah, you got to look at it like back in the day. Like I'm not an expert on funeral home equipment. If anybody is, please let me know. But maybe that sucking insides machine wasn't around.
I have a theory because I don't believe that was around back then. But there is another Tales from the Crypt comic book that actually focuses on a specific type of spider in the Amazon that injects you with a poison and sucks your insides out after it liquefies. So if they were reading source material, that very well could have come from one of those, and they decided to incorporate it.
That's a very good theory.
Very well could be true. You never know with this. You know, we also get like the episode for Fitting Punishment when they go to do like the draining for it. It's like almost like a spigot that they have a sharp, you know, point on that they go and insert into the person to drain them. So it's interesting the take that they made on this one. That's for sure. But
I was going to ask. I was going to be like, so Jeremy, what did you think of the episode?
I loved it. It brought back a lot of great memories. I remember watching that episode when it first came on, and enjoying watching my buddy James, and they just did such a great job. And like you said, it was creepy, but it was almost positive. It was almost uplifting from a kid's point of view. So I really liked it. I really thought that it had the right blend of tingles and laughs.
Yes. Yeah.
I 100% agree with that for sure.
Me too. Yeah.
Now, one of the things that we do ask though is if you could rate this on a scale from 1 to 10, where would you put this episode? And considering that you are a Tales from the Crypt fan, you know, obviously you got some that are better than others.
A scale of 1 to 10, I'd give this one a solid 7. A solid 7. Just because for me, the ones that push the creepy boundaries a little further are the ones that I really loved and were the ones that ranked highest for me. So I'd give it a solid 7, 7.5, because it's a great episode and it's fun and it's enjoyable. But for me, and especially, I love to be scared. There hasn't been a film in the last 15 years that's truly scared me, and it just is depressing. I've been searching and I can't find anything that gives me the willies. You know what I mean?
Talking about the willies, I believe you were in that.
Here we go.
No pun intended, but yes, I was. And that was actually to let you know, the director and writer of that film is the gentleman I was talking about that had the collection of Tales from the Crypt.
Oh, that's amazing. I got my own small collection going, but they're a little bit more expensive these days.
Oh yeah, big time. He had been left a lot of them, and he filled it out from there. But the interesting thing about the Willies was it wasn't intended to be a feature film. He came to me and the rest of those young actors in the film, and the only part of that was actually supposed to be shot was my part, the scene with the monster in the school in the bathroom. It was supposed to be a 25-minute short, maybe 30 minutes tops, and it was supposed to be essentially his calling card. He wanted to get it laid down with some quality people to be able to show the production companies what he could do as a director and a writer. And sure enough, after about a year or two of putting it together, he took it to a film festival, and it not only won, but he had a production company come up, offer him money to finish it into an 1.5 hour long feature. And that's where he got the idea of the sitting around telling camp stories and doing it in the little vignettes instead of one long film, because he had to find a way to add that 25-minute scene into a full movie.
If only things were that simple these days. If only.
Well, oh, you're telling me.
Well, obviously, with him being a Tales from the Crypt fan, like,
do you remember the days when a production company actually bought your idea?
Exactly. Of a poster. Yeah. That's it. All it was a poster and a name. Boom. I was just discussing this with
self for everything, and if we like it, then we'll buy it.
Right. It doesn't. You have no idea what the fucking movie's about. Oh, it's a girl. She gets naked and she gets captured, but this alien comes and saves her. Here's $5 million.
Yep.
Bam.
Go make it.
Yeah. Let's see.
That's probably why they go with a lot of comic book series, because it's already there. It's
I wouldn't doubt it.
It seems like the easy way to go. That's for sure. And
so, Justin, your ranking and your thoughts on this episode.
I thought this was a really fun one. I really like the found footage style that they kind of incorporate into it, which is pretty cool for its time. I love the fact that we get Data in this. I'm a huge Goonies fan, like I said before. Like I loved it, even though he wasn't like, I don't know, his character Data was definitely a lot cooler than the character he played for this one, to say the least.
Well, I mean, his dad died in the episode. What are you trying to say? Do you not care about a child's parent dying, Justin?
I just wanted to hear him say booby traps and like really like solve everything.
I bet you anything that line is like copyrighted like to the max right now, so they probably couldn't use that line.
Right, and these are the kids, just so everybody knows who we're talking about for this episode. But I guess overall, I'd probably give this one a solid, like a 7. This one was fun. It was just a simple episode. The kids aspect to it kind of made it where it was a little bit more enjoyable, because I usually watch these with my 4-year-old. So like this was actually one that wasn't too bad. Obviously, like when the face gets smashed in, it was a deal at my house, but it was still a really fun one for sure, man. What about you, Jack? What did you think?
I really liked this episode. Like when watching it, you want to expect something absolutely creepy to happen, and you think, due to all the other prior episodes up to that point, that it was going to end like gruesomely. There was going to be some kind of craziness, but this ended on a very high note. Basically, it was something that I don't think had been done on the series up to that point. And the only thing that made this episode, I mean, obviously the tone of what's going on, not kid friendly, was the naked boobs. And
which were clearly fake. And
yeah.
When talking about dead people, you sound like a necrophiliac.
I am not a necrophiliac type of person. I just invited this,
just this one time. Just one time.
House. Obviously, I don't like dead people. Okay, but no.
If only I could reword this.
Jeremy, do you see our banter back and forth? Do you see what he does to me?
Oh yeah.
Like I don't even get to. Okay. I am the victim, ladies and gentlemen.
I see the love. You can feel it. Yes. You feel the love.
Okay. Like I don't even get through my whole explaining. When he asked me, "Hey, what do you think about this episode?" It just cuts me off. Like this is.
Come on, that's what friends are for.
It is.
Yes. Yes. But so I really did like. I love the people that were in it. I mean, by far the actors were like top notch. You know, John Glover. I love the guy. Like I met him. He's such a great guy. Well, Melissa, you're a racist, so I mean, he could be a dick all he wants, but you're still a racist. But what I'm saying is that you know this is a great episode, and I absolutely love it. I do love it. And for a ranking, actually, Justin, did you give your rank? You didn't give your rank.
Yeah, I did. A 7.
What'd you say? A 7.
7.
Okay,
Yeah.
so with the tone and positivity, I'll give it a 10 on that. But for like the typical, you know, Tales from the Crypt, I would give it a 5. Because it just wasn't. I know,
It's okay.
I love the
not everything is
episode.
for everybody, and fortunately for you, there's over 90 episodes, so I can't wait till we hit that 10 with you for sure. But I guess before we continue too much farther, we actually got another friend who actually wants to chime in a little bit because they actually watched this episode and want to give us their opinion as well. And Jeremy, correct me if I'm wrong at all with this, but he's actually a good friend of yours as well, and that is Sam I Am Mason.
Oh Lord, we're letting him in.
Oh fuck!
Here he goes.
Now you guys thought your banter was bad. You just wait. Okay, now hold on a second. I gotta give Jack some shit real quick. Okay, so Jack, you're gonna say that you give it a 5 and a 10.
Well, no,
right?
For the positivity.
No. Yes or no? Yes or no? Yes or no? 5 and a 10, right?
I'm pleading the 5th now. I don't know where you're going with it.
Okay.
I'm going with it.
That equals fucking 7. The same thing everybody else fucking said.
Oh. Well,
he just has to be complicated. Just let him have his moment and let's move on. Right. So Sam, I understand that you had a chance to check this out. Oh, anytime, buddy. Anytime, man.
No, what's going on, Jeremy? Love you, brother. Can't wait to see you Saturday.
How you doing, you handsome devil?
Oh, you sexy bitch.
Okay, all right. What do you think about the episode, Sam? We don't want to know about your menage a trois that you guys are gonna have. So let's.
Hey, that was a secret. I told you that in private.
My bad.
Jack wasn't supposed to fucking say anything.
Look, you know, in the private chat, you were getting me all hot and bothered, man. I know Jeremy's over there. He just sees the notifications, but me and Sam were having we were sexting in the private chat, like straight up. Like, mama didn't raise no spitter, Sam. All right.
No, you said mama didn't raise. Yeah, well, yeah, you did say that. Okay, you're right.
I did say that.
And I said yes, ma'am. Anyways, back to the episode.
This is evolving quickly.
Now you went and got me in fucking trouble, dick.
Yeah.
Right. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but that's your girlfriend, right, Sam? Jeannie
That
Holtzman?
is.
And she's the voice of Peppermint Patty as well, correct?
That is correct.
Yep. And she will also be there on Saturday the 10th at noon Pacific Standard Time for the Peanuts reunion.
That's right. Well, actually, she won't be here for it because she lives here and we're throwing the event. So
she's leaving?
Well, no, she just won't not be here.
You're complicating it. Just say yes. Just say yes. Yeah. Jeremy's like, what? Like, what the she's gonna be at the reunion, everyone, and she lives with Sam, or they live together, so she will be there.
No, what I'm saying is she'll be here because we live here.
He gets it.
So what did you think of this episode, buddy?
You know, honestly, dude, I love the episode. I thought it was great. Dude, I love the fact that there was fucking practical effects. and the way that they were able to do the things that they were doing, you know, and being a FX guy myself, you know, I love how they performed the techniques, the smashing of the face. I mean, you know, obviously you can tell it was, you know, a mannequin, the eyes were shut, you know, so on and so forth. You know, great fake tits. You know, everybody loves tits, dead or not. You know, so yeah. You know, honestly, I give it an 8.
Fair enough. I completely can respect that. And with the actual, you know, practical effects, I've actually had Todd Masters on, who did a lot of the show's practical effects, and that dude is absolutely amazing. You know, like everything that he's done, and just be, you know, given, you know, just, you know, he learned so much being able to work with Kevin Yeager, who's probably one of the biggest names as far as special effects go, at least for somebody like me who's into horror.
Well,
But
I mean,
at that time, I actually got to meet Kevin once, a long time ago, and man, what a talented guy.
Oh, did you? What did you get to meet him on? Was it a project that you guys got to work together with?
There was a project a friend of mine was doing, and they were actually bringing him in to see if, the, what would you call it, the testers of the masks he was going to make. So they were getting, they already had hired him, they were working with him, but he was bringing over the samples, basically, of the latex masks he was going to make. So I just got to meet him over at their house for a few minutes. A really awesome guy. And I got to see some of his very basic, no detailed work, and it was still incredible. So.
Oh, I'm a humongous fan. I'm still waiting for that person to donate like $7,000 to the show so I can buy the baby Crypt Keeper doll that he has for sale in his shop. So if anybody wants to go to the website and check our PayPal link and donate around $7,000 so I can buy this toy, it would be greatly appreciated.
It's not a toy, it's a collectible.
Oh, it will be a toy at my house. I will be playing with it all day long. I guarantee that.
We don't want to know details of what you're going to do to the doll, but I mean, that's great. Thanks. You call me a necrophiliac? Yeah, what is that, sir? That's a little fucked up.
Well, that's because you're into dead people. You clearly said that she had hot tits and it was a dead woman. That implies necrophilia.
They can't say no, so...
That also implies more necrophilia. You're not helping your point at all.
Digging the hole.
That's a really weird hole when you're digging for necrophilia, man.
You know, quick fact about me really digging holes. It's funny Jeremy said it. I've wanted for years to get like a tiny shovel to like tattoo on my back, because they used to call me the shovel, because I'd somehow, some way or another, always like in the military and even afterwards, like just dig myself a fucking grave. Like it just happened.
You just made that up and gave yourself a nickname. Nobody called you the shovel.
I swear to God.
And they used to call me Crowbar.
Nobody in the military would call you the shovel.
No, they called him Loadmaster Seaman Hunter.
Right?
That's what your job was. And when you're in the Navy, you are seaman and your last name is Hunter. You hunted for seamen while being the loadmaster.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the part in our episode where we are going to give a shout out to all our sponsors. So in a minute, as Justin gets it ready, we are going to go to a commercial break for 5 minutes. So if you're watching this right now, just like you, Jeremy and Sam, everyone can take a break, go potty. I said potty because fuck. I said it because I'm a dad. Okay, you can go use the restroom like a
that's a father thing.
It's a father thing. Yeah, I still think when next time I ever go on a date, I'm gonna be like, I'm sorry, I gotta go potty, and I already know it's gonna happen. It's just in me. Like
he'll be fine. Anyways, we'll be back in a moment.
Hello, this is the Sasquatch, aka Bigfoot, but you can just call me Frank. And when I'm not stomping around the woods throwing rocks at hunters, I like to listen to the Paranormal Punchers podcast. That's right, Paranormal Punchers. They talk about all things paranormal, and they're hilarious. Go find them on iTunes, Stitcher Radio, Google Play, and paranormalpunchers.com.
Do you like the Tales from the Crypt? Do you love the Tales from the Crypt? Even if you've never seen an episode, this podcast is for you. I'm Melissa, your ghostess with the mostest, and host of the Good Evening Kiddies podcast. Each week, I break down another great episode from the TV series The Tales from the Crypt. Audio clips are included, so even if you haven't watched that episode, you're good to go. There are also special guests, trivia, mini movie reviews, and much more. What are you waiting for? Check out the Good Evening Kiddies podcast on Podbean, Apple Podcast, or wherever you get your podcasts. That's the Good Evening Kiddies podcast. Check it out today.
Submitted for the approval of the Midnight Society, a whole new season of spine-tingling.
For the first time in We're Not Afraid of the Dark history, we're actually going to watch a erotic scene
together. Just a couple brothers watching porn together. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, on air right now. This is the biggest plot hole I saw this, by the way. How in the fuck does she take him back in town for
But he was made it a point to bump him. But no, I agree.
How do you not catch this?
I was drunk when I watched this.
Whoa, So were we. Yeah.
But yeah, there's just this giant fucking board right here ready to lock down.
Like it has hooks that you latch the fucking door to lock it.
She is on Mr. Skate. I'll put a link in the show there. She just and she's listed as great nudity. She's a red-haired girl. They say she has great natural tits.
See?
You seen her black people in this episode?
I like how she's exercising while eating it, and then she's in the bathroom taking a shit, reading the story, and the plate's on the floor.
Man, this is also the first episode where our main characters aren't just a bunch of generic white kids.
Everything about our food is changing. The way we cook it, the way we eat it, and the way we share it. And that's why I'm encouraging you to come and check out Pardon My Fork. Conveniently packaged in hour-long episodes and available anywhere you find your favorite podcasts and at pardonmyfork.com. We are talking to home cooks, chefs, Food Network stars, and world food champions. So cleanse your palate and come and get a heaping helping of Pardon My Fork.
Greetings! We are the Retro Reductopus Cephala Podcast, the bi-weekly show that celebrates all the things that made growing up awesome.
He's right. We wax philosophic about lots of geeky crap like old video games and movies, toys, cartoons. I don't know, help me out here.
Music, pants, quoting video games that don't have dialogues, shabibans, tasty news,
unnecessarily long Japanese onomatopoeia,
butt breathers, uncomfortable nature facts,
or how to install a thermoflange.
And unlike all those other podcasts, we at Retro Reductopus have an exciting rotating host schedule.
Do we?
We sure do. So, if you didn't like the guy flapping his gums this week, like me, worry not, gentle listener. Next week, we'll have a whole new host.
Of problems.
Hey, they might still suck, but they'll suck differently.
And you know what's really cool? Retro Reductopus is part of the Dorkening and Inebriar podcast networks, with new episodes every Tentacle Tuesday.
Which is like every other Tuesday. We named it.
Anyways, you can listen to us at iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, Stitcher, or any podcast player cool enough to carry the only show that celebrates all things that make growing up awesome.
Win championship belts. If you're not listening to Trick or Treat Radio, here's a taste of what you've been missing.
There's 3 guarantees in life. What are they?
Death, taxes, and Trick or Treat Radio every Friday morning.
This is one of the most convoluted movies I've ever seen in my life.
I'm fucking trying, man.
Hey.
Oh yeah.
Hey.
Oh yeah.
It's like you took a shit on a pile of shit.
But you shit on him for liking what he likes.
Yeah, well, it's my job.
This podcast is now banned in Germany.
It's me, Giovanni Lombardo Radici.
Shut up! I call bullshit. I demand someone to bring me the face of Lindsay Lohan.
If I had genitals, I would definitely bang her.
Oh, wait. She's a great big fan person.
You just hit the jackpot.
This is a weird movie, huh?
It had action, it had suspense, it had great characters, it had great acting.
I'm gonna strangle you with my jockey shorts.
I don't like mobster movies.
Alright, well, here's my take. You're a sick fuck.
Thank you. Now shut the fuck up and let me talk.
Have you ever seen 2001?
The box, right? The box and the monkey.
Available on iTunes, Stitcher Radio, and trickortreatradio.com.
Arrivederci, douchebag.
And welcome back to this exciting episode of Tales from the Podcast. I'm your host, JB, with my co-host, Jack, and our lovely guest, Jeremy Miller, with also, I can't get to these angles right, Sam. I am Mason as well, joining in now. So I guess what we were talking, I went ahead and I uploaded something just to show everybody, but this is what I was talking about, and it is $6,850. But yes, it is still for sale. So I have been watching this
cool.
for about 3 years. So
where's it at?
you actually got to go to the Jaeger's FX studio, and it's in his shop. It's right underneath Station, which you can buy Station from Bill and Ted.
Nice.
Yeah, that's pretty fucking cool. You know, I'm actually really, really sad that they weren't able to get Station in the new Bill and Ted's movie. I don't know if maybe Ed didn't want to play him again, or I'm not 100% sure on that, but I think it would have been really cool if we would have had the Station in the new Bill and Ted for sure.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Wait, you didn't watch
that was a character I love.
Say that again, Jeremy?
You didn't watch the after
I
end
just said
credits?
that was
Oh, my bad.
You're Jack.
Oh, no, I was just saying, that was a character I absolutely loved. Station, you know, God, the actor who played him is absolutely just awesome. He was in Die Hard 2 and, you know, a whole bunch of other stuff. But
he was Howard the Duck.
What a character.
Yeah, I'm actually a fan of Ed Gales. I've been secretly trying to get him on the show. I'm a huge fan of Howard the Duck, and he played Howard the Duck. So, but I guess you know, with this Peanuts reunion you guys have going on, what brought this upon, like, now in 2020 of all years? What brought on this Peanuts reunion?
Sam, you want to
do you want to answer?
I mean, if you want to talk about it.
I was going to give Jeremy a minute to speak up if he wanted to, but I'll go ahead and spit it out.
It was your baby.
It is my baby.
You know
okay,
what? Hold on.
So
we're gonna do you guys a favor. Hold on real quick. Watch this.
Okay, thank you. I would much rather look at Jeremy anyway. No. Anyways, so with Jeremy's one of my best friends. We've been friends for about 10 years, and it's funny because our introduction, I didn't know he was Ben Seaver for like the first 3-4 years I knew him. And like all of a sudden one day we were talking about film and all this other shit, and he's like, and it clicked. And I was like, oh fuck, dude, you're Ben Seaver. And like, you know, it was like, dude. So yeah. But anyways, when I started dating Jenny, you know, I knew she was Peppermint Patty, and so that's kind of what led me into the Peanuts family. You know, I'm married into the family, so I'm the creepy, you know, husband-in-law or whatever, you know, brother-in-law, whatever.
The creepy one in the Peanuts group.
So anyways, yeah, so I started promoting her, and I started getting her to open up about, you know, being Peppermint Patty. And so I got her a show out in Victorville. It was her first autograph signing show. And so after we did that, I talked to Jeremy a little bit, and then, you know, we had Brad on here not too long ago. And so I, you know, got talking to Brad about it. And Brad was like, hey, well, I've got, you know, Lucy and Sally and, you know, on my hand. And I was like, well, fuck, wait a second. And then all of a sudden we started brainstorming, and we're like, it's never been done where we have, you know, like the whole cast of main characters, you know, doing a single autograph show. And so, you know, it first started out as we were supposed to do the Hollywood show as a Peanuts reunion. But when COVID broke out, they had to postpone Hollywood show. So we're like, you know, well, what if we could do one our own, you know, on our own? And so that's kind of how, you know, it all came about. And so I started, you know, talking to everybody. I got everybody on board. There was a lot of negotiations that went, you know, between us. And, you know, once I got everybody to agree to do it, we just ran with it. It's become this monster that, you know, that it is now.
Well, that's actually pretty awesome. Jeremy, now, when you got involved into this, man, what did you think of this whole thing being brought up now of all times? And also, like, how has this not been done before now with, you know, the Peanuts and Charlie Brown being as big of a thing as it is?
Well, I've been doing the Comic-Cons and the autograph shows for probably about 6 years now, a few a year. And usually there'll be me and Brad Keston, who was Charlie Brown, or it'll be me and Brad and Angelo, who was Lucy. For whatever reason, they've never been able to schedule everybody all at once. You know, that's really what one of the issues was. I don't know why no one thought to try and round all of us up or to try and grab all of the actors from one generation. Because that's really what we are. Although we may not have been on the same episodes together, we all were within a few years of each other. And it's all the same generation of Peanuts. So when Sam broached the idea with me, I was very much for it. Because, you know, any chance to do something with all of my Peanuts family is really cool. It's something I'm still very, very honored to be part of. So it didn't take any thought. It was an easy yes.
That's very cool.
And I will say that something that isn't talked about is, yes, they were all within a couple of years of each other. However, every single one of them worked on the Charlie Brown and Snoopy show. That's what ties this cast together.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool. And we actually have Brad. He chimed in asking if Charlie Brown himself will be there too. I posted that as Jeremy was stating that he will be there as well. So I thought it was very fitting.
Yes.
And
Charlie Brown will be here.
He will. To cut in real quick, when you asked about this time being kind of an odd time for doing this, I honestly thought it couldn't be more appropriate, especially with it being virtual and having the ability to do that. But one of the core principles of the Peanuts was perseverance. What was the one thing that Charlie Brown had more than anything? It was perseverance. No matter how much life knocked him down, he got up and he kept going. And right now, man, I think that's something we could all take a little from.
I completely
very,
agree with
very
that.
true.
With everything going on in the world right now, the one thing that is shown through humanity at this present time is we haven't given up. No matter what the world has thrown at us, you know, yes, 2020 has affected us all in some way, shape, or form, whether it be negative or positive. But the thing is regardless of the situations, we've always kept going. You know, America has kept going. And that is what really needs to be talked about in the news, other than all this other political BS, you know.
And not on this show, so we'll keep the politics
right,
out. So it's still really, really cool about the entire Peanuts thing. I'm really excited with what you guys have going on with it for sure. It's really, really cool, especially like anybody Jack's or I's age, and you know, even like we kind of discussed earlier, Jeremy, and I'm sure Sam as well. These are things that we're kind of grown up with. Like, you know, you always watch the Halloween special or the Christmas special, always on the holidays, and it always leads you into the shows. You know, my kids watch it. It's just one of those things that's kind of timeless, like very similar to like Garfield. And it's just it's awesome, and I absolutely love it. And I love that you guys are able to actually do something like this nowadays, and you know, hopefully pull this off really, really good and actually have a really good turnout.
I definitely appreciate that. And I will say that this is the first of many events that we're going to be doing. Provided this one goes off without a hitch and, you know, we do as well as we're expecting to do. We do have full sponsorship with Cool Waters Productions, LLC, and Derek Mackey. So we're honored to have him on board. He's got 25 years experience, you know, being a booking agent and, you know, working with celebrities and signing shows and all that stuff. So we're very honored to have him on board with us and working with us to put this on. But I will also say that this is also the 70th anniversary of the Peanuts group. So Charles Schultz, created Peanuts 70 years ago this year. So,
and
you know,
still
that's
relevant
a
today, baby.
What's that?
I said, and still relevant today, baby.
Still as relevant today as it ever was, and that's an amazing thing. These are truly, you know, iconic and legendary characters You know, and I'm honored to be such close friends with, you know, people who were, you know, who voiced those characters. It's an absolute honor, and I'm beside myself, you know, that I'm in this group, in this family.
That's very cool,
Guys,
man.
I hate to cut in here real quick. Looks like my phone's probably 2 minutes from dying.
Okay. Well,
fair enough.
We will talk here in a minute. Jeremy, it was a pleasure having you on.
Guys,
yeah,
absolute pleasure.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you once again so much for coming on, dude. And before you do go, I do have one thing I want to show you real quick, just because I'm not sure if you've ever heard of it. So here we go.
The Jeremy Miller Band.
I found it,
am
and I'm
not
like,
familiar.
I was like, I gotta show him. They haven't posted anything in 9 years, but
I don't care. That's incredible.
I thought it was worth sharing. Hopefully, in the future, maybe we get you on again sometime and get to chat a little bit more about some of the stuff that you actually got to do. But once again, dude, thank you so much for coming on. It was a pleasure to have you here with us today. It's awesome.
Yeah, and Jeremy, go get that phone plugged in so we can talk afterwards. We got
you got it, Jack.
All right, you have a good one.
Sounds good.
Thanks for coming on, brother.
Thank you guys for having me on, and I look forward to doing it again.
Thank you.
Later.
Love you, brother.
Later.
All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that was the insatiable Jeremy Miller, which was a blast having him on. And for those who don't know, there is a private chat that's been going on, and me and this guy have been like going back and forth with the weirdest comments. You know, it's just our relationship, everyone. So when we talk about crazy things, don't think it is just out of the normal. No, this is every day. You know, this is literally every day that we talk like this. But that's our relationship and friendship. So, but Sam.
And I'm going to add on to that real quick. If anybody knows, either you or I personally knows that we have that sixth sense of humor, and they know our type of movies and the shit that we come up with and create. Yeah. So it shouldn't really be a shock to anybody.
No.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. You're right. You're absolutely right. So, but Sam, you know what to do. Thanks for staying around and coming up with us. We really appreciate it. We'll talk to you in a few seconds, a few minutes.
All right. Thank you, Sam, very much for coming on, for sure. And, you know, once again, before we go, or before we let you go, man, do you want to go ahead and give a shout out for the Peanuts thing yourself?
Absolutely, man. I appreciate that. So this Saturday, October 10th at noon Pacific Standard Time, we will be going live on in-house-con.com with Derek Mackey hosting the first part of the event, which is going to be the one-on-one video chats and the panel with all of the characters. Brad Kesson, Jenny Holtzman, you know, Jeremy Miller, Angela Lee Sloan, and Stacey Tolkien. And they will, you know, they'll be doing that part of the event over there. And then as soon as that ends at around 1:30, we're going to switch over to Facebook, our Facebook page, and I will be hosting that part of the event. And that's where they will actually be signing all of the autographs. We got a bunch of people that sent stuff in to get signed. And we have a whole lot more stuff, you know, still available that we're getting printed up, and so we have a lot of things available. So you can come check us out on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter by searching @Peanuts Reunion. And yeah, you can find out all the information that we have available.
That's awesome, man. And once again, thank you for giving your input on the show, as well as obviously helping put together this episode too. So thank you once again. And as Jack said, we will talk to you in a few moments.
Sounds good, brother. Thank you guys again.
Anytime, brother.
Well, so Jack, that was a fun one, man.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you know, getting to talk to Jeremy Miller, you know, a person I grew up watching, you know, that was an absolute blast. You know, who can say
an
that?
entire generation grew up watching him.
Yes. Yeah, and there's stuff we didn't talk about, but we will be working together soon. And that's all under wraps at the moment. So but things are good, man. I'm really excited about the future for my production company and my just everything, man. It's just been a great year. A lot of people say it sucked for them, but for me, it's been, we've had our rough patches just like every year, but this year was a little bit more dramatic with things. But for us as friends, everything's, it's been good. And
that's good.
Everything, it's just a good year. I mean, it's a good time. You got to think of the positives. So that's cool.
Very
and
true.
So I'm Jack Hunter. Where we go one, we go all. Justin.
And with that being said, guys, this crypt is closed.